The Kansas City T-Bones proudly present T-Bones Baseball on the Air. Members of the American Association of Independent Professional Baseball Clubs and home of fun well done. The T-Bones Broadcast Network is brought to you by Community America Credit Union, Austin's Trailers and Motorsports, Budweiser, Coca-Cola, Price Chopper, Providence Medical Center, the Kansas Lottery, FlyKCI.com, Roma Bakery, She Meadow Local Number 2, and Kissick Construction. Now let's head out to the ballpark for the starting lineups and the first pitch with the voice of the T-Bones, Nathan Moore. Well, Kansas City spotted Winnipeg 5 runs in the first inning on Friday night, only to come back and see an eventual 6-run lead evaporate as the T-Bones lost 16-15 in a game that lasted 11 innings and nearly 5 hours Friday night at Shaw Park. Good evening, everybody. Welcome into Game 2 of the 3-game series with Kansas City and Winnipeg. Sitting in for Nathan Moore, I am Matt Folks. Last night was one of those games that you just shake your head and say, I don't know what I just saw. Kansas City pitcher Mike Kickham, who's become somewhat of an ace for the T-Bones, had an un-Kickham-like start last night as he faced 9 batters in the first inning and allowed 5 runs. The first 4 batters of the game reached for the Goldeyes, with Michael Gonzalez doubling, Josh Romanski walking, Cabrera reaching on a fielder's choice, and Reggie Abercrombie delivering a 2-run single that gave Winnipeg a 2-0 lead. They ended up scoring 5 in that inning. Kansas City came back, had a big middle part of the game, took a 6-run lead, but then gave up 6 runs. And we ended up going extra innings, and it was a 16-15 loss. So we'll see what happens tonight as Kevin McGovern goes for Winnipeg, Jordan Cooper for Kansas City. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll talk with last night's starting pitcher, Mike Kickham, as you listen to T-Bones Baseball on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Welcome back to Shaw Park as we get set for Game 2 of this 3-game set with Winnipeg and Kansas City. And we're talking with last night's starting pitcher, Mike Kickham. And, you know, Mike, it was a first inning that we're not used to seeing out of you. They got 5 runs out of the inning, and we were just talking off air that you know, they weren't hitting it particularly hard. I mean, they blooped a couple in, a couple seeing-eye grounders, but it was nice to see you get back to the old Mike Kickham. And I said this on the air last night, that after you got through that first inning, what we saw from the second on is what we expect out of a Mike Kickham start.
Sure, yeah, and hey, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. And yeah, yesterday was a squirrely one for sure. Yeah, definitely easily top 3 strangest games, start to finish, that I've ever been a part of. I've been a part of a lot of them. So, but hey, we grinded out, and there's a lot of good to take from it. But yeah, back to kind of what you said. I like to come out and set the tone in the first inning because that's huge. Get those, get that lineup uncomfortable, and really throwing hard inside is something I like to establish early. Not afraid to come inside. Hitters don't like it on their hands. And yeah, I ended up beating a guy. The first hitter, he chops it over third, and that's kind of what got things going for him.
Yeah, it was. And we even put this in the release last night. There was a very un-Mike Kickham-like start, at least in that first inning. But it was good to see the guys battle back in the second and third innings and take a lead. And how much confidence or how much did that change your approach? Suddenly that, hey, we're not out of this thing. We've got this lead again.
Oh, absolutely. And as a starter, that's something you want to do. That happens. Baseball can be screwy like that, and you can do everything right, and you're looking at a 5-0 hole out the gate. But I told myself, keep us in this game, keep it at 5, and we have a chance. And we responded like that, and that was huge for our offense to just respond in such a big way. And unfortunately, we ended up taking the L at the end of it. But we responded, and we got a great group of guys here. We're just kind of coming into our own. I feel like coming in this last series before break. So I think we're going to really have a strong second half.
Just as a one of the veteran type leaders on this team, what can you say, or if anything, to, for instance, the bullpen that Now, let's face it, the bullpen the last 3 games, and Bill Sobey and I talked about this before the game today, but we've seen Gary put up crooked numbers in the middle innings Wednesday night, Tuesday night, and then we see Winnipeg do the same thing last night. What can you do just as a veteran-type pitcher just to kind of help the guys along?
Yeah, I see some of the guys coming out of the pen, and I see some of the stuff I went through, and just getting away from trusting your stuff. I mean, hitting's very hard, especially if you're getting ahead. So you really got to, especially out of the bullpen, it's so crucial to come in and just pound the zone, get ahead of those hitters, get them on their heels, and then you can put them away. So I think maybe their mind says they have to be too fine and make the perfect pitch, but hey, we got some nasty arms with some nasty stuff down there. They should just, let it eat, trust their stuff, and again, hitting's hard, man. So you get them on their heels by getting strike 1, strike 2, and we're going to be much better off. So,
what's your mentality each time you take the ball?
Well, a lot of things go through my head out there on the mound, but I want to execute each pitch. I take each pitch as its own kind of battle, if you will, and then once that one's done, that one's in the past, and it's on to the next one. And something I've really enjoyed, especially getting here in Kansas City, just evolving as a pitcher, not just a thrower, and really just having a different approach or perspective about the art of pitching. So, and my mentality is just kind of like what I said, hitting's hard, and I got pretty good stuff, so I'm going to come at you with it. And if you beat me, I'll tip my hat, but more times than not, I'm going to get the best of you.
Has this been a good fit for you? Have you enjoyed being in Kansas City so far?
It's tough to describe in words how much fun I've had since I came in KC. I've said this ad nauseum, but I haven't had a bad day since I came to Kansas City, and playing here for the T-Bones, getting my feet back under me has been huge. I think it's just a start on to my journey back to a level where I once enjoyed. So, but again, it's still one day at a time, one start at a time, and I'm gonna go out there, give my best effort, and let the rest take care of itself.
Now, I have a feeling that at some point we're going to need to get you on again. But when you talk about the level where you were, a lot of people might not realize or they don't think about it when we talk about you being with the Giants. And we talk a little bit about Reggie Abercrombie on the air about he has 9 major league home runs and one coming against Clemens, for instance. But you spent some time with the Giants in 13 and 14, and Royals fans like to forget about the whole 14 postseason, at least, with them. But what stands out to you from your time so far in the big leagues?
Just some of the players I faced, just some of the experiences I had. We had one of my fondest memories is we took a trip to New York. I had never been to New York before. We played a back-to-back series with an off day in between against the Mets and the Yankees. And it was toward the end of the season, and they had a big thing for Mariano Rivera. Jackie Robinson's family was there to kind of unveil a placard, which was very cool. And I have pictures from that, so that was just very neat. Got to go to some history museums around there, walk around with guys like Tim Lincecum and Chad Godin, and those are two guys that I kind of hung out with there in New York, and just had a blast. Walked around Times Square. We had a little rookie hazing type situation that required us to. We came back to empty lockers with a pair of cowboy boots, some white spandex, and cowboy hats and guitars, and we had to get dropped off in Times Square, walk back to the hotel, and collect money or phone numbers or what have you. So it was a good time, and man, and I thank the Giants a ton, man. Giving me the opportunity and just to experience that level, and that's something I definitely want to get back toward, and am working toward getting back there, whether it's with whatever team. But the Giants afforded me a lot of good experiences the last 6 years, and I couldn't be happier with the way it turned out.
Okay, now I got to go back to this hazing thing real quick before we move on. No, but just because I have Times Square, and it's the singing cowboy. Is that what they call him?
Naked cowboy.
Naked cowboy.
Okay. But no, that's the thing. There's so many people in there. There's of course people following us with their cell phones and making comments, but there's so many people. There's people out there in body paint, so we're not the weirdest looking bunch. But there's about 8 of us, bigger guys walking through. So it was a trip, but it was a lot of fun. So we had to consume some beverages prior to getting the right frame of mind to do something like that. But it was all in good fun. It was a blast. So something I'll never forget. And I have pictures of that, ironically, hanging in the house. And I don't know how proud my mother is of those pictures, but those are pretty funny. Those will be funny to look at, when I'm older or whatever.
Well, and I'm sure your twin brother Dan, who was here in 2012 with Kansas City, I'm sure he could at least give you a little bit of a hard time about that.
Yeah, we have some good conversations, and I tell him all the stories, and because without him, I wouldn't have reached the level I did, because growing up I always had a throwing partner. I always had someone to play catch with. We played hot box. We pitched to each other, and it was just a good time. So I thank him, and hopefully going forward he can be a little more part of this journey with me. But he keeps tabs on me. We talk every day, so we're still very close. So it's good.
And I'm guessing he can at least tell you you're welcome for you being the left-hander and him not being the lefty.
No, I've heard that. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that in my life, I'd have a lot of nickels. But yeah, he always has something to say about me being left-handed. But yeah, I guess I was just smarter of the two of us. So that's how I look at it.
Well, and we mentioned that 2014. Did you come away with a World Series ring that year?
I did. That's true. Yeah, that's something. Again, another piece of hardware, or another token of just my journey, and something I'll never forget, and something I can pass down to to my lineage, I guess, through my kids and on. But yeah, something I'm very proud of. Even though I didn't, I wasn't in any of the games and have any, on the field presence there. But I did, enough to, be in the right place at the right time, and be afforded a World Series ring, which is something that's pretty cool. Even though I didn't have a direct hand in it, but who knows, maybe in the future I will someday. So but yeah, that's something I'll never forget, and something I'm very proud of, and will pass on for generations to come. So
now, are there any battles you had with any hitters that really stand out?
Well, I did give up a lot of home runs. Those kind of replay in my head, and actually, Elliot that works at the field likes to remind me when Zach Greinke took me deep. Not the brightest spot in my career, but he's a good hitter for a pitcher, and it happens. So, but anyway, some battles. I just facing I faced the Dodgers a few times, and that's when kind of Puig was at his height. So I remember throwing against him, and just a big guy in the box. A-Rod too, huge in the box. And just seeing guys like Adrian Gonzalez, Robinson Cano, just Todd Frazier. It's just like it's crazy. But yeah, maybe not so much battles, but definitely facing those guys really stands out. So yeah, a lot of good memories in there, man.
Who was the first major league hitter you faced?
It was leadoff for the Athletics. I'm gonna guess I want to say Coco Crisp. I think maybe I have to look at the lineup card. But yeah, I think Michael Taylor was maybe the first strikeout. So
First home run?
I was in that game as well. I forgot who it was. It might have been Jaso. I don't know. Yeah, those I like to forget.
Yeah.
But I used to be able to name them all at one point, but enough time's gone on where it kind of flushes out of the memory.
Well, Mike, we appreciate you taking the time here today, and obviously, last night was one of the wildest games we've seen, and that's the beauty of this game. You don't see the same thing every night. You don't see a team win on a walk-off sacrifice bunt that scores 2 runs, including the batter, and you rarely see 2 big comebacks like we saw last night. But unfortunately, we're just on the losing end. But I guess that's why we love this game so much. Huh?
That's right, yeah, and we love the sprinkler intermission there late in the game, forcing fans out of their seats. So we play a beautiful game, and that's the thing. You can do everything right and get rewarded, or not rewarded. You could smoke a ball right at somebody, line out to somebody, or you could hit a little dribbler and get a nice little infield base hit. So I've been on the receiving end of both those plays. And will be the rest of my career, because that's just the nature of the game we play. But again, it's a beautiful game, and that's why we love it. That's why we play it.
Now you keep mentioning different types of hits. You mentioned Greinke hitting one off you, but you're trying to. You eventually want to get in the batter's box for Kansas City this year, if I'm not mistaken.
I've lobbied multiple times to Mr. Mazzarelli about getting in the lineup, and hey, I can get a button down. I got some wheels. I can also, stroke something in the gap too. So I know those hitters might laugh, but I got some knocks in my my AA and on up career. Playing affiliated ball, so I can swing it a little bit.
All right, well, Mike, we appreciate it. We'll have to do this again sometime, but it's been great chatting with you today, and let's hopefully cheer these guys on for a couple wins here this weekend. Let's get this series before the All-Star break.
Definitely, I'm gonna be in my hoodie cheering the guys on, and we still got a chance to win the series and take 2 or 3. So hopefully we have a good showing today.
That's Mike Kickham on the pregame show. When we come back, we'll talk with manager John Mazzarelli as you're listening to Kansas City T-Bones on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
I loved when the ice cream truck came around as a kid, the familiar music, and the cool treats on a hot summer afternoon.
What's your happy place?
Have a Frosty Treats ice cream truck at your next corporate or private party. FrostyTreats.com.
Welcome back to Shaw Park as we get set for Game 2 of this 3-game series. We're talking with John Mazzarelli. And Maz, it's another good day in Winnipeg. Temperature is gorgeous. Another great day for baseball. Did you have a chance to do some sightseeing and have a good meal or two today?
Did a lot of walking again.
How many steps were you, think?
Not many, not as many as yesterday. We were a little sore, but a couple nice restaurants. Good town.
So what sightseeing thing did you do today?
Oh, went to the museum. Got to remember that.
Yeah.
Saw a couple works of art from a traveling. Forget his name already. My wife knows it. Chavez. That sounds right. He's a Russian that lived in Paris in the 20th century. Pretty famous French artist. So
Very nice. So it's the Canadians are great. They treat us very well, but the Goldeyes didn't treat us very nicely last night with a tough game, and it was one that when you get down early 5 runs against this team, it's tough to come back, but we did, and then their offense kicked in, and we helped them out a little bit, didn't we?
they helped us out a lot too. So it's one of those games that you never draw up or figure out. That's what makes this sport so crazy. I was one of them. Just everything that could go wrong for them went wrong, and everything that could go wrong for us went wrong. And that's why you saw the crooked numbers on the board all night long. And it's always tough to be on the short end of that one.
You know, it was nice to see Gallus get that grand slam. It's always fun to see when a guy is sitting on deck and the guy before him gets intentionally walked. And Jake had already had the home run before, but it was nice to see Gallus get that grand slam.
Well, it's nice to see because of the work he's put in. I mean, this guy is 100% committed to turning this thing around for us and turning his career around, and he's just 24/7. He is working and thinking about getting better, and hasn't had the success that he has liked at all. And just to see him go up there and hit that in that situation was great to see.
You know, another guy who's been just flat out stinging the ball, but they just have not been falling lately is Massey, and you know he's been hitting the ball hard all year, but we saw him get robbed a few times earlier this week against Gary, and hit one last night that I think the wind just kind of held up a little bit, but he's been stinging the ball, hasn't he?
He's one of those guys that every manager in the league talks to me about him and what a player he is. That one of the better players in the league, just the numbers haven't been there for him, and that's baseball. You can't control that, but everyone raves about his tools and the way he plays the game. So I feel very fortunate that he's a T-Bone and continues his career with us.
Jordan Cooper on the hill tonight, and Jordan, you know, another kind of like a Mike Kickham that you know he works quickly and knows what he's doing out there, so to speak. What do you expect out of him? He has not faced Winnipeg before, so what do you expect out of him against the Goldeyes tonight?
No, he's got to mix the speeds, move the ball around, back these guys off the plate, and work his cutter for the outer half of the plate. So he's got to use his inside fastball so his cutter's effective against these guys, and hopefully Vladdy gets a lot of work.
Well, Maz, let's maybe get a little quicker win tonight and get set for do a little quick sightseeing early in the morning. You do anything in the morning before we hit the bus?
Probably we'll get up early, and definitely if we win. I mean, usually I'll get up earlier. If we lose, I'm a little more sleeping in. So hopefully get a win.
That's John Mazzarelli as we get set for Game 2 of this 3-game series coming up in just a few minutes. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, by the starting lineups for you. You're listening to T-Bones Baseball on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.com.
At Community America, we're redefining
center field, batting third. Jake Blackwood will be your first baseman, batting fourth. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, Anthony Gallus. Batting sixth, the shortstop, Vladimir Frias. Batting seventh, the right fielder, Dalton Wheat. Batting eighth, the catcher, Tyler Moore. There's your one change for tonight. Tyler Moore catching and batting eighth instead of Brian Airy. And then batting ninth, the third baseman, Sergio Leon. So again for Kansas City, Wiley Rodriguez, Massey Blackwood, Gallus Frias Wheat, Moore, and Leon. They'll be going against Kevin McGovern here tonight, a left-hander for Winnipeg, 6'3", 220 pounds, out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So it'll be lefty on lefty here as we get set to go with the first pitch here on a perfect night here in Winnipeg. The windup and the first pitch to Wiley, and we're underway as the first pitch misses down low. Jordan Sampert is behind the plate tonight. Hank Lemoyne at first base. Brian Child is at third. Another great crowd on hand here tonight as the next pitch is upstairs. Defensively for the Gold Eyes, Adam Heisler's in left field tonight. That's about their only change from what we saw last night. Reggie Abercrombie in center field, Willie Cabrera in right. The infield from third to first, Rich Ho, P. Haslam, Michael Gonzalez, Cassio Grider. Kansas City won that game 3-1. In that game, however, McGovern struck out 10 Kansas City batters. Here's the windup and the 3-1 to Wiley. It's a little bit outside. Brett Wiley draws the leadoff walk here in the top half of the first inning. McGovern 4-2 on the season, 4.40 ERA. As Starlin Rodriguez steps in for Kansas City. McGovern has started 13 games, 75 and 2/3 innings. He's given up 84 hits, 49 runs. As he works out of the stretch here with Wiley at first, and the first pitch is way inside to the right-handed hitting Rodriguez. That's going to send Tanner Murphy, the catcher, out to talk with his pitcher. Out of those 49 runs McGovern's given up, 37 have been earned. He has walked 24, struck out 67. So I mentioned that against Kansas City, he struck out 10. In his previous start on July 18th against a great St. Paul club, McGovern struck out 11 in a 6-4 win over the Saints. Before those two double-digit strikeout games, McGovern hadn't recorded 10 strikeouts in a game since August 2nd, 2014. A span of 38 starts with fewer than 10 strikeouts, as this one's in there for a strike to Rodriguez. So 1-1 now to Starlin Rodriguez. Here's the next pitch, and it hits Rodriguez. Looks like it probably got him on the foot or the lower leg. So not exactly the start that Kevin McGovern wanted. And obviously not the start that manager Rick Forney wanted. He's going to go out and chat with his pitcher. You know, the thing that to watch for tonight will be the bullpens. Each bullpen is for the most part, somewhat gassed, I'm going to say, after last night. An 11-inning game that Winnipeg won 16-15. But Kansas City used Holman, Shuttlesworth, Ybarra, Haynes, and DeLuca. 5 pitchers out of the bullpen. The only pitcher who did not throw last night out of the bullpen for Kansas City was Josh Tolles. Winnipeg threw 4. Shimo, Lotzkar, Dazine, and McVeigh. In last night's game, Kansas City had runners at first and second, unable to score before Winnipeg led up, kick 'em for 5 runs in the bottom of the inning. Here's the 1-1. It's at the knees for a called strike. McGovern frustrated with himself as he snaps his glove on that throwback from Tanner Murphy. Brett Wiley let things off with a walk, and then McGovern hit Rodriguez. He's ahead of Massey, though, 1-2. A long look. Now the 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss on the off-speed pitch. And McGovern will have his first strikeout. So 1 out here in the first. And it brings up the first baseman, Jake Blackwood. After the mound visit, Tyler Massey will dig in for Kansas City. Blackwood reached base 5 times. Why does he suddenly have 11 strikeouts in his last 2 starts? After not a strikeout game since 2014, as Blackwood chops this one foul. And Sobey said the biggest key, even though Kansas City ended up beating him last weekend, Bill Sobey said the biggest key is just he's using his changeup more. He's just able to mix his speeds up a little bit better. And so what was the case this weekend? Because he still, even though he lost that game, he still struck out first. Kansas City nothing. Winnipeg coming up back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
Always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.com.
At Community America, we're redefining wealth. It's time to focus on what really fills our lives with meaning. The experiences and relationships that define who we are and what we value. At Community America, what matters to you matters to us. Because when you have financial peace of mind, you can live life to the fullest. Make today wealthy.
I loved when the ice cream truck came around as a kid, the familiar music and the cool treats on a hot summer afternoon.
What's your happy place?
Have a Frosty Treats ice cream truck at your next corporate or private party. FrostyTreats.com.
Welcome back to Shaw Park here in Winnipeg, Canada. Jordan Cooper on the hill as we go to the bottom half of the first inning. Leading off is Michael Gonzalez. A similar lineup for Winnipeg tonight. Michael Gonzalez leading off. He's the shortstop. Next pitch low and away. Adam Heisler in left field batting second. Batting third is the right fielder Willie Cabrera. Reggie Abercrombie in center field batting fourth. Josh Romanski, the DH, he's batting fifth. Cassio Grider at second base batting sixth, as this is a chopper toward Frias. The shortstop makes the play for out number one. Grider, the second baseman, batting 6th. Jacob Rogers playing first base, batting 7th. Rich Hoopy Haslam is batting 8th and playing 3rd. And then Tanner Murphy catching and batting 9th. Gonzalez, Heisler, Cabrera, Abercrombie, Romansky, Grider, Rogers, Hoopy, Haslam, and Murphy is Adam Heisler, who did not play last night. Digs in to face Jordan Cooper for the first time. Cooper has not faced the Goldeyes. As the first pitch misses to Heisler. Coop coming into this game 3-2 overall, 3.97 ERA. This one's on the ground. Wiley will dive, make the play, throw to first in time. An outstanding play by Brett Wiley, who had a nice play last night, but it was called safe. But he makes a nice play on Heisler here. Heisler with pretty good speed. So 2 up, 2 down here in the first. And it brings up Willie Cabrera. Cabrera scored a couple runs last night. He went 1 for 6, though, as he takes this one right back up the middle for a base hit.
That's the Goldeyes' first hit of the game.
Organization. He missed Winnipeg last week at Community America Ballpark. His last start was last Monday against Gary. As this one's low and away, and the count now 3-0 to Abercrombie. Innings against Gary. He'll get 2 RBIs. He does so here, though, on a 2-run homer that gives his team a 2-0 lead.
With that hit, everybody in the house wins a voucher for $5 worth of free dry cleaning from Personal Care. Vouchers will be distributed as you leave the ballpark after the ball game.
So 2-0 now in favor of Winnipeg. And it'll bring up Josh Romansky, who's the DH tonight. He was in left field last night. Romansky scored the winning run in the 11th inning. He scored 3 other runs, had 3 for the 3rd out. But not before. Winnipeg once again will take a first inning lead against Kansas City. This time they get 2 runs in the first. They do it on 2 hits. There were no errors and nobody left on. We played 1. We head to the second with Kansas City trailing at 2-0. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.wealthy.
Lazy Boy Furnishings and Decor, 1425 Ellis Avenue.
I loved when the ice cream truck came around as a kid. The familiar music and the cool treats on a hot summer afternoon.
What's your happy place?
Frosty Treats Ice Cream Truck at your next corporate or private party. FrostyTreats.com.
The top half of the second inning for the Kansas City T-Bones. The shortstop, number 11, Vladimir Frias. Frias, the shortstop.
T-Bones trailing at 2-0 as we go to the second inning here from Shaw Park in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Matt Folks are along with you here this weekend. Vladimir Frias, Dalton Wheat, Tyler Moore here to face the lefty Kevin McGovern. Frias rather, shows bunt and pulls it back. McGovern wheels and deals the one-strike pitch, and it's lined down the left field side, but hooking foul right over the bullpen. The bullpens here are what I would call old school. That's why they had it at Wrigley, for instance. They're just right down the lines, right along the warning track. Here's the 0-2 to Vladdy. Curveball that's low and away. Another nice crowd on hand here tonight. They had 55-21 last night, and that was a solid 55-21. Tonight it's not quite as big as last night. All the suites were filled and the party decks were filled. It was an outstanding crowd. Here's the 1-2 to Frias. Misses down low. He tried to hold up on a swing, but first base umpire Hank Lemoyne will say he went around, so it's strike three. Vladdy not happy with it. It's going to be the third strikeout, though, for McGovern.
The right fielder, number 9, Dalton Wheat.
And with one out here in the second, it'll bring up Dalton Wheat. Wheat has a 7-game hitting streak going for Kansas City, as the first pitch is right at the knees for a called strike. That started on July 20th at Lincoln. In these 7 games, he has 5 multi-hit games. As the outside. And coming into tonight, in those last 7 games, he is hitting a cool .500, 14 for 28. As he taps this one foul. And it's 1-2. We saw McGovern get off to a quick start last week against Kansas City. Again, when you have 10 strikeouts and 6 1/3 innings. As this one's on the inside part of the plate, a called third strike by Jordan Sampert. And back-to-back strikeouts here, leading off the second for McGovern.
Number 8, Tyler Moore. Moore gets it.
And that'll bring up the catcher, Tyler Moore. Moore is facing Winnipeg for the first time, facing McGovern for the first time, as the rookie was not here last year when McGovern was pitching for Lincoln. Is in there for a strike. And I mentioned this last week when we saw McGovern at Community America Ballpark. When things are going well, he just has this aura about him as Moore fouls this one into the seats. He is certainly a pitcher who wears his emotions on his sleeve. In the first inning, when he walked Wiley and hit Rodriguez, you could really tell that he was down, he was frustrated. And now that he has 4 strikeouts out of 5 outs tonight, you can also see that confidence growing a little bit. One and two now, the count to Moore. 2 outs. We're in the top of the second inning. 2-0 in favor of Winnipeg. As the next pitch is outside. 80 miles an hour on that changeup. The wind keeps shifting here at Shaw Park. It'll come in for a moment, then go back out toward the left as this one's upstairs. If you've seen our pictures on Facebook the last two nights, a view from the press box, almost directly behind home plate. Here's the windup and the payoff pitch to Moore. Fouled back to the screen. I'm looking for Dancing Gabe tonight. We'll see if he makes an appearance. Speaking of Facebook, maybe we can get a picture of him later if he's here. And as Moore lifts this one up down the right field line, it's going to drop for a hit. Moore rounds first and puts on the brakes. But a 2-out single for Tyler Moore.
Now batting the third baseman, number 4, Sergio Leon. Leon, third base.
Moore did not get a hit his last start. That was last Monday against Gary, who went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. So good to see the rookie catcher for Kansas City get a base hit with 2 outs here, especially with the way McGovern's throwing. So to bring up the third baseman, Sergio Leon. Leon struck out 3 times last night. As he grounds the first one to Ho'opi Haslam. It's mishandled by Haslam. Throw to first is in time. As Leon made a last-ditch effort to get in there in time, but just not quite making it. It's 5-3 on the putout for out number 3. For Kansas City here in the second, no runs on 1 hit. There were no errors, and 1 left on base. We go to the bottom of the second. Kansas City is trailing 2-0. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.com.
At Community America, we're redefining wealth. It's time to focus on what really fills our lives with meaning. The experiences and relationships that define who we are and what we value. At Community America, what matters to you matters to us. Because when you have financial peace of mind, you can live life to the fullest. Make today wealthy.
I loved when the ice cream truck came around as a kid, the familiar music and the cool treats on a hot summer afternoon.
What's your happy place?
Frosty Treats Ice Cream Truck at your next corporate or private party. FrostyTreats.com.
Number 9, Passio Ryder.
Casio Grider, Jacob Rogers, Ho'opi Haslam here to face Jordan Cooper as we go to the bottom of the second inning. First pitch is grounded, just fouled on the third base side. Grider broke his bat on that, so he will go get a new piece of lumber from the dugout. The Winnipeg dugout along the third base side here at Shaw Park. The visiting dugout, of course, then is along the first base side. Winnipeg leading it 2-0 after Abercrombie's 2-run homer in the first. Here's the next pitch. Misses somewhere to Grider. As the sun begins to set behind us. 1-1 pitch. It's high. The shadows right now are creeping in on home plate umpire Jordan Sampert and catcher Tyler Moore. Here's the windup in the 2-1. High and inside. So it's 3-1 now to Grider. Grider batting 276, 7 home runs, 38 RBIs. As the 3-1s in their first strike. Grider went 3 for 6 last night, 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs. Here's the windup and the payoff pitch. It's going away. So Cooper gives up his first walk of the night. And it brings up the first baseman, Jacob Rogers.
The goal eyes, first base, number 14, Jacob Rogers.
Rogers 2 for 4 last night. He's batting .271 as Cooper throws over to first. No runs, 1 hit for Kansas City, 2 runs, 2 hits for the Gold Eyes. Runner takes off. The pitch is in there for a strike. Moore's throw down to second is in time. Cassio Grider will be caught stealing on a perfect throw by Tyler Moore. So a 2-6 put out for the first out, and that will negate that walk given up by Cooper. So now nobody on and 1 out. Rogers in on the left side of the plate. Cooper, the right-hander, wheels and deals, and this one misses inside. Kansas City pitchers last night walked 10 Gold Eyes. This one's line to Blackwood. And he catches it for the first out. And I apologize for the pause because he caught it. The first base umpire, Hank Lemoyne, was somewhat behind the play, didn't exactly see it, and Rogers was not running toward first, and Blackwood was just standing there expecting, realizing he caught it, was expecting Lemoyne to say out, but Lemoyne checked with Jordan Sampert, the home plate umpire, said yes, he caught it. So 2 outs in the inning now for Ridge Ho'opi Haslam. Ho'opi Haslam had a couple hits last night. Big swing and a miss. The count's 1-2. So on a plus side, in addition to the 10 walks that Kansas City surrendered, which was a season high, Kansas City pitchers struck out 12. This one's on the ground to Frias. Vladdy up with it across in time for the third out. So Cooper, with the caught stealing of Cassio Grider, ends up facing the minimum here in the second inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We've played 2. We head to the third. Winnipeg leading it 2-0. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.com.
Well, they're playing some music, and Dancing Gabe is in the house, people.
Leading off the top half of the third inning for the Kansas City T-Bones.
And I just took a photo of him, so maybe we can
Brent Wiley.
try to get it on the Facebook here momentarily. I don't know if I got the extended netting just yet. Here's the 3-2. Popped up. Left side. Gonzalez calling for it. Now drifts over to Hope. He Haslam. And the third baseman will make the play for out number one. So one up, one down here in the third inning.
Number one, Starlin Rodriguez.
And I'm just afraid, folks, that a photo of Dancing Gabe just will not do Dancing Gabe justice. I am curious to maybe ask Steve Schuster how Dancing Gabe got started. Carries a glove, wears pink headset. Big swing and a miss by Rodriguez. Wears sunglasses. And he has those things all night with his red Winnipeg jersey with Dancing Gabe on the back. Here's the one-strike pitch to Rodriguez, and it barely misses him. Almost in the same spot that McGovern got him in the first inning. Winnipeg with a 2-0 lead with one out here in the top of the third. Here's the 1-1. Grounded sharply to Hope. He Haslam. He bobbles it, picks it up, throws to first in time to get Rodriguez on a half step for out number two.
Now batting the center fielder, number 3, Tyler Massey.
So 2 plays to Hope. He Haslam. And 2 outs here in the third inning. Brings up the center fielder, Tyler Massey. Massey in on the left side of the plate. McGovern, the left-hander, kicks and delivers, and it's popped up into shallow right field. Cassier Grinder, the second baseman, goes out. Cam Sunderland pulls it down for the third out. So Kansas City, for the first time tonight, retired in order, 3 up, 3 down here in the third. We go to the bottom of the third with Kansas City trailing at 2-0. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
Country Inn & Suites in Village West is the official hotel of the KC T-Bones. We conveniently share the parking lot with the stadium and offer access to the best shopping and entertainment. Enjoy a comfortable stay with top-notch services and amenities. Start your day off right with our Be Our Guest breakfast. Our exceptional service makes Country Inn & Suites the ideal hotel in KC for anyone traveling for business or pleasure. Stay with us on your next trip and we'll have you saying, I love this country. Book today at countryinns.com/Kansas City KS.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, You must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local youth ground alliance.
That'll be 9-1-2 for the Gold Eyes as we go to the third inning. Tanner Murphy, then back to the top with Gonzalez and Heisler. Jordan Cooper has given up 2 hits and 2 runs tonight. Kansas City trailing at 2-0 as Murphy goes after the first pitch and lifts it into deep left center, but Massey is able to track it down at the warning track for out number 1. We've already seen 1 home run out to left, that by Reggie Abercrombie back in the first that gave Winnipeg this 2-0 lead. But with the way the wind is blowing tonight, this is one of those nights that if you can get it up in the air toward left, it's got a pretty good chance. First pitch in there for a strike to Michael Gonzalez. Gonzalez 0 for 1, grounded out back in the first inning. We're at Shaw Park in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. As Cooper goes ahead 0-2. You might be able to hear the train in the background. We didn't hear it much last night, but I've heard it a few times here tonight. Remind me later on tonight, I'll tell you an interesting story about the trains and the way they've affected Winnipeg. I'm sure we will hear another train later on tonight. We're in the bottom of the third, 1 out, 1-2 count. Here's the pitch by Gonzalez. Grounded toward Frias. A nice Sunday hop. Frias throws to first in time for out number 2. So 2 ground outs to Frias by the Winnipeg shortstop Gonzalez.
Number 8, Adam.
And with 2 outs here in the inning, it brings up the left fielder, Adam Heisler. You know, one thing I heard about before making this trip, and it has proved true the first 2 nights, and it's one of the coolest things. You know, Nathan Moore and I talked a little bit last week when Winnipeg was in Kansas City. I believe it was during Friday night's game. We talked about playing the Canadian national anthem before the American national anthem when Winnipeg is in town. Not just for the T-Bones doing it, but just in general. 1-1 count now to Heisler. But just in general about teams from Canada when they're in the U.S. playing the Canadian national anthem, when sometimes there's nobody on the team affiliated with Canada. And it's just somewhat interesting, we had talked about. Hey, one thing that I've heard these first 2 nights, when the Canadian national anthem is playing, last night it was 5,500 people. Tonight it's probably close to 5, as Heisler will chase a bad one and go down on strikes. It'll be the first strikeout for Cooper, but just the way they sing the national anthem here, the way the crowd gets into it and sings it, regardless of where you're from, it can give you chills. So very cool to hear that. Maybe tomorrow we'll try to figure out a way to get the fans on the air. We'll see. It's 3 outs, 3 up, 3 down here in the third. We've played 3. We go to the fourth. 2-0 Winnipeg. Back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
With an emphasis on dairy products.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. Providence Medical Group has offices in Bonner Springs, Basehor, Tonganoxie, Lansing, Leavenworth, and KCK. That's why we're the go-to community hospital in the region. If you're a T-Bones fan, count on the medical team that takes care of your team. The great doctors of Providence Medical Center, just east of the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Learn more at providencekc.com.
Heathwood Oil Company was the first independently owned oil company in Kansas City, and they're now one of the oldest continuously family-owned oil companies in the Midwest, featuring Citgo lubricants. With a current bulk storage capacity of over 250,000 gallons, they have the products you need. Let Heathwood and Citgo design a Citgo lubricants program to reduce cost and increase production. Call 913-321-1764 or email sales@heathwoodoil.com. Heathwood and Citgo, your lubrication specialist since 1926.
We go to the fourth inning, 2-0 in favor of Winnipeg.
The first baseman, number 4, Jake Blackwood.
Each team was retired in order in the third. Kansas City with one hit. A walk and a hit batter. They've left all three on base. First pitch to Blackwood is a fastball at 90, left upstairs. The 1-ball pitch grounded sharply to Hope. He has on the third baseman. Plenty of time. Sidearm throws it over to first in time for out number 1. So another train is going by as Anthony Gallus gets set to come up. And Winnipeg was a huge hub for the Canadian Pacific Railroad back in the late 1800s. And in fact, the city boomed in size and became the third largest in Canada in the early 1900s. It's now about 7th. As the first pitch to Gallus is grounded into left field as it gets past Michael Gonzalez for a one-out single. So Gallus will be aboard with one out here in the fourth for Vladimir Frias.
The batter, the shortstop, number 11.
So Winnipeg, because of the railroad, because of the location of Winnipeg in the central part of the country, this was a great hub for things to go through the United States. It was a great spot for international trading. It's still known now as kind of the gateway to the West. Do you want to know what ceased the growth of the city of Winnipeg in the late 1800s, early 1900s, as Frias fouls this one off? Of all things, in all places, it was the construction of the Panama Canal in 1914 that affected Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. You see, the Panama Canal increased the use of ships and international trade, and there was less reliance on the Canadian Pacific Railroad. As Frias fouls this one back and out of play. So as a result, Vancouver, which is obviously to the west, on water, the Pacific Northwest, well, it became bigger and more prosperous than Winnipeg by the 1920s. And today you can visit train yards or train museums, rather. They have a couple of them here in Winnipeg. But that was a big thing that helped this area boom. But the Panama Canal has ceased that growth. Here's the 0-2 to Frias. It's left outside. Vladdy struck out his first time up in the second inning. Frias had 2 hits on Wednesday night and 2 hits last night. And on the right side of the plate against the lefty McGovern. As McGovern makes a very light, I know you're there type throw over toward first base. Blackwood grounded out to Ho P. Haslam. Gallus then singled. Winnipeg leads this 2-0. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Off speed pitch that's outside. So we have seen McGovern really use that changeup. He developed that pitch. Really worked on it over the offseason, and this one is somehow a strike called by Jordan Sampert.
Batter, the right fielder, number 9, Dalton Wheat.
So Frias will go down on strikes. He will be the 5th strikeout tonight for McGovern. And with 2 outs here in the 4th, it brings up Dalton Wheat. Wheat, a strikeout victim. He was caught looking his first time up. And so we have seen so far McGovern, although he's given up a couple hits and was wild to the first 2 batters tonight with a walk and a hit by pitch. He is not right over the plate. He is where he wants to be. As the next pitch is on the outside part of the plate for a called strike. And to give an umpire credit, Jordan Sampert seems to have a bigger strike zone, certainly than Brian Child had last night. Childs was about the size of a coffee cup. Here's the 1-1 to Wheat. Off speed pitch. And the count's now 1-2. Anthony Gallus gets his lead at first. In this 2-0 Winnipeg lead. Each team with 2 hits, Winnipeg with 2 runs. The 1-2 to Wheat. Bloop towards center, and it's going to fall in front of Abercrombie as Gallus slips going around second base, but he will beat the throw back to the bag. So 2 singles here in the inning for Kansas City as Wheat doing a nice job there, just reaching out and making contact, and dropped it in front of the center fielder Abercrombie. So Dalton Wheat with an 8-game hitting streak now. It brings up Tyler Moore. Moore with Kansas City's first hit tonight. He did that with 2 outs in the second. As the first pitch in there for a strike. Here's the next pitch. It misses just inside. Way Moore looked back at home plate umpire Jordan Samper, and you could tell he somewhat anticipated a strike being called. As he digs back in on the right side of the plate, they have him set up on the inside. Here's the pitch. Curveball that's outside. Moore grounds it to first, and they don't get it out. Rounding third and heading home to score is Anthony Gallus, and everybody's going to be safe. Rogers, the first baseman, we saw a similar play last night. Rogers, the first baseman, ranged pretty far to his right. And so his only immediate play, unless he chases Moore to first base, his only play is going to be to get the lead runner at second. But Gonzalez, the shortstop, just was not there. So then Gonzalez tried to throw it back to first, and by that time, Gallus took off for home and slid in safely. So Kansas City will get on the board and trailing now 2-1. As the first pitch to Sergio Leon's in there for a strike. So they'll charge an error on that play. Moore ends up at second, Wheat at third. Winnipeg had 3 errors in last night's game. Kansas City likewise had 3, and Leon grounds this one to the shortstop Gonzalez, who throws to first, and they'll get the out here. So Leon out on 6-3 putout for out number 3. But not before Kansas City gets on the board. The T-Bones come away with 1 run on 2 hits. There was 1 error. The T-Bones will leave 2 on base. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Kansas City now in a run, 2-1 back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
Country Inn & Suites in Village West is the official hotel of the KC T-Bones. We conveniently share the parking lot with the stadium and offer access to the best shopping and entertainment. Enjoy a comfortable stay with top-notch services and amenities. Start your day off right with our Be Our Guest breakfast. Our exceptional service makes Country Inn & Suites the ideal hotel in KC for anyone traveling for business or pleasure. Stay with us on your next trip and we'll have you saying, I love this country. Book today at countryinns.com/Kansas City KS.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.com.
And now the Gold Eyes production team is tossing stress balls into the crowd, courtesy of the Manitoba Chiropractors Association.
So I don't know if you heard that music in the background, that piano tune. I mentioned this last night, and I heard tonight that it was the chiropractors of Manitoba. But they do group stretching. And it's kind of fun to watch because everybody in the stands gets up. They have their, in our case, I'd call them promotions interns. I'm guessing it's promotions interns for them. They have probably 7 or 8 of them lined up basically between the dugout and the field on the grass. They have a video that they play showing the stretches, and with that music that you heard there in the background. Kind of fun to watch. I would have stood up and done it, but I didn't. I don't know why. Willie Cabrera leading things off here in the bottom half of the fourth inning, 2-1 in favor of Winnipeg as Cabrera grounds this one towards short. Vladdy with an outstanding play, but the throw was not there as it pulls Blackwood off the bag. So leadoff single here in the fourth for Cabrera and the Gold Eyes. Brings up the center fielder, Reggie Abercrombie. Abercrombie put Winnipeg on the board first tonight with a 2-run homer in the first that scored Cabrera. With 2 outs in the first, Cabrera singled and then came home on Reggie's home run to left center. First pitch here, misses inside. Reginald Damascus Abercrombie, who turned 35 about 2 weeks ago. Here's the pitch. It's low and away. Cooper on the mound for Kansas City comes set at the belt. The 2-ball pitch is popped up and back and over our heads. Here's the 2-1. Skied into center field. Wiley goes back. Still going back. Camps under and pulls it down for out number 1. That was a major league pop-up by the former major leaguer Abercrombie. And with 1 out here in the fourth inning, it brings up the DH, Josh Romanski. Romanski flying out to Massey, ending the first inning. Bats here at the runner at first and 1 out. First pitch, grounded high, chopper to Blackwood. His first play will be to second, back to first. In time to get Romanski on a similar play that Winnipeg was unable to turn in the top half of this inning. Kansas City will turn it here on a 3-6-1 inning-ending double play. We played forward. Winnipeg leads it 2-1. We'll be back right after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
At Community America, we're redefining wealth. It's time to focus on what really fills our lives with meaning. The experiences and relationships that define who we are and what we value. At Community America, what matters to you matters to us. Because when you have financial peace of mind, you can live life to the fullest. Make today wealthy.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
For the third time tonight, Brett Wiley will be leading off an inning. He led off the first, of course, for Kansas City. Led off the third, and now he leads off the fifth in a 2-1 Winnipeg lead. Wiley 0 for 1 tonight, walked in the first inning. Popped out to the third baseman, Hope. He has him in the third. Matt Folks here along with you on a gorgeous night here from Shaw Park in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Wiley in on the left side of the plate. The left-hander McGovern wheels and deals the first pitch, and it's in there for a called strike. McGovern has given up 1 run and 3 hits. He has also struck out 5 through 4 innings. Here's the 1-strike pitch to Wiley. Fouled back to the screen, so McGovern ahead of the count now. 0-2. A much different game tonight than we saw last night, thus far at least. And thankfully, I will say, as this one misses outside. By this time last night, going into the top of the 5th inning. It was 7-7. And I think we'd been playing about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Counts 1-2 to Wiley. Wiley batting .321. McGovern lined up, and the 1-2 pitch is swung on and lifted into center field. Abercrombie takes a step in, now drifts back to his original spot, camps under it, and pulls it down for out number 1.
Now batting the Kansas City left fielder, number 1, Starlin Rodriguez.
So 1 out for Rodriguez. Rodriguez also 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning. And then grounded out to Hope. He has him in the third. In that first inning, with Kansas City having runners at first and second leading off the first, leading off the game. Massey and Blackwood each struck out, and then Gallus popped out. We have seen Rodriguez in the leadoff spot much of this season, or much of the time since he has returned to Kansas City. He missed the first few games of the year. Missed the first homestand. But he has mainly been in that leadoff spot until here recently. And here in this series, we're going to see him probably in the 2-hole for all 3 games. Here's the windup and the 2-ball pitch. Way inside, doesn't quite hit him as Rodriguez able to scoot out of the way. He was not able to scoot out of the way of that pitch in the first inning. That's pretty much the same spot that got him. Regardless, he's up there with a 3-0 count. The windup and the automatic. And it's in there for a called strike. Rodriguez thinking that's ball 4. Did seem to be somewhat low and away. Here's a 3-1. Lifted into center field. Playable for Abercrombie, who will drift over to his right camp under and pull it down for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 flyouts to Abercrombie. It brings up the center fielder, Tyler Massey. Massey 0 for 2 tonight after striking out in the first inning and popping out in the third. But as I talk about this being a much different game, obviously with 14 runs being scored last night, there was a lot of excitement. The crowd was really into it. It's a night in this 2-1 game that neither pitcher is working overly fast. Stolen bases. As Cooper was taking too much time for Jacob Rogers' liking. So Rogers calls time and steps out. Takes some of the focus away from the pitcher. Hope he has him, squares around. He gets a bunt down. Leon up with it, throws to first in time. As Hope he has him, puts down. Cooper gets a runner on, but is able to avoid any trouble. We've played 5. We head to the 6th, 2-1 in favor of the Gold Eyes. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel.
Financial peace of mind. You can live life to the fullest. Make today wealthy.
We go to the 6th inning. It'll be the middle of the order for Kansas City. Blackwood, Gallus, and Frias here to face Kevin McGovern. 2-1 Winnipeg on top. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for Kansas City. 2 runs, 4 hits, and 1 error for the Gold Eyes. A little pause in the action before Blackwood digs in on the right side of the plate. McGovern, the lefty, with the first pitch here in the 6th inning. It's on the outside part for a called strike. Here's the windup and the pitch. It's low and inside. A long look in for McGovern. Now he gets the one he wants. Here's the 1-1. Big swing and a miss. Fastball at 89 that was upstairs. So it's 1-2 now to Blackwood, who is 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out in the first inning and grounded out leading off the 4th. Comes up empty on this inside pitch, and he'll go down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight. It will be the 6th strikeout thus far for McGovern. They've given up 10 most strikeouts. So what do you want to bet that McGovern against Frias, who's hitting from the right side of the plate, against this lefty McGovern? What do you want to bet McGovern will try to throw an off-speed pitch low and away? That has been his out pitch thus far, although they have Frias set up inside. The pitch is there. Frias swings, misses. It's dropped by Murphy, but he'll pick it up and throw to first. And once again, Kansas City will be retired in order. 7 strikeouts now for McGovern.
It's time now for the Anatomic
And another
Scoreboard.
3 up, 3 down inning.
Scoreboard brought to you by Sal's
No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 2-1 in favor of the Gold Eyes. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 20.
We go to the 6th inning, and we go back to the top of the lineup now with Michael Gonzalez. Gonzalez, Heisler, Cabrera. And if anybody gets on, Abercrombie. Winnipeg leading it 2-1. One run, 3 hits, no errors for Kansas City. 2 runs, 4 hits, and 1 error for the Gold Eyes. Gonzalez 0 for 2 tonight. He's grounded out to Frias twice. As I said that, I looked up, and now suddenly the shadows have overtaken the entire field except Frias. As this one's down low, there's a swath of sunlight. It's probably about 40 feet wide, extending from, basically makes a line between Frias and Leon, the shortstop and third baseman, and goes all the way out to the wall as this one's chopped foul into the seats. Now Frias, moving over toward double play depth, is right on the edge of that swath of sunlight. Pitch misses inside. And again, the only Kansas City reliever who did not pitch last night was Josh Tolles. If need be, Jared Messer, who started Wednesday night, if need be, he could be available. And again, keep in mind that after tomorrow, Kansas City will have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday off for the All-Star break. So 3 full days, runner Gonzalez back safely. Heisler batting .305. 6 home runs, 32 RBIs. Here's a 3-1 pitch, grounded toward Wiley. He'll drift to his left, pick it up, and make his only throw that he can make for an out, and that's toward first. I just made that a lot more complicated than it needed to be. With his momentum going toward and as Sobey comes back, he gives a long look at Jordan Sampert, the home plate umpire. I'm not sure if he was waiting on Sampert to come out and get him, or we have seen Sobey do that. We have seen Maz do that a couple times.
Number 17, Willie Cabrera.
But with 1 out and a runner at second, and a very dangerous part of this lineup is coming up with Cabrera, Abercrombie, and Romanski. So here's Cabrera, 318, 11 homers, 56 driven in. First pitch misses somewhere. Cabrera with 2 hits tonight. Singled and scored on Abercrombie's home run in the first inning. Singled and was part of a 3-6-1 double play in the fourth. 1-ball pitch tapped foul toward the Winnipeg dugout. So the T-Bones are off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at Sioux City, Thursday through Sunday of next week, and then the next home game will be Monday, August the 8th, as they begin a 3-game set against Lincoln. Tickets are available 24 hours a day at tbonesbaseball.com. You can buy them and print them right there. As this pitch misses inside to Cabrera. As we hit the 6th inning now, I can tell you that, could have told you this earlier, I suppose. As this pitch a little bit low to Cabrera. So it's 3-1 now. But Cooper has gone at least 6 innings in 8 of his 10 starts. The only 2 times he didn't go at least 6, June 25th at Fargo and June 30th at Lincoln. As the runner takes off, and he's going to be thrown out at third base. Gonzalez took off, and Cooper with a very easy pickoff. 1-5 for out number 2. So just like that, nobody on and 2 outs. Here's the 3-1 to Cabrera. Grounded sharply and fair down the third base side. That's going to go toward the corner and should be an easy 2 for Cabrera. Rodriguez picks it up and gets it back in, and Cabrera will be at second base with a 2-out double. The 3rd hit of the night for Cabrera, but how big now is that pickoff of Gonzalez? Winnipeg would be leading it right now, 3-1. But instead, it's 2 outs with Cabrera at second for Abercrombie. Abercrombie 1 for 2. 2-run homer in the first inning. And popped out to Wiley at second in the fourth. First pitch, he reaches out, lifts this one into center field. Massey comes in, camps under it, and pulls it down for out number 3. So again, I ask you, how big was that pickoff of Cooper getting Gonzalez? Because here in the 6th inning, Winnipeg comes up with no runs. They had 1 hit. And Winnipeg leaves 1 on base. They could have just left 1 on base and scored a run, but instead they leave 1 on base and do not score a run. We go to the 7th. Kansas City trailing at 2-1. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
Country Inn and Suites in Village West is the official hotel of the KC T-Bones. We conveniently share the parking lot with the stadium and offer access to the best shopping and entertainment. Enjoy a comfortable stay with top-notch services and amenities. Start your day off right with our Be Our Guest breakfast. Our exceptional service makes Country Inn and Suites the ideal hotel in KC for anyone traveling for business or pleasure. Stay with us on your next trip and we'll have you saying, I love this country. Book today at countryinns.com/Kansas City KS.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural. You must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
We go to the top of the seventh. It'll be the 7, 8, 9 hitters for Kansas City. Dalton Wheat, Tyler Moore, Sergio Leon here to face Kevin McGovern. Kansas City trailing Winnipeg 2-1. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for the T-Bones. 2 runs, 5 hits, and 1 error for the Gold Eyes. Dalton Wheat, 1 for 2 tonight, extending his hitting streak to 8 games now. He did that with a base hit in the 4th. That inning is when Kansas City scored its lone run of the game as the first pitch misses outside to Dalton Wheat. Wheat, the rookie, 6'2", 185 out of Augusta, Kansas. Lines this one toward left. He's going to have his second hit tonight. And Kansas City will have its leadoff runner aboard here in the 7th inning. As Goldie, the mascot, will go out onto the field and try to put some type of curse, some type of hex on Tyler Moore. Of course, then Goldie, the mascot, has trouble getting through the gate to each member of the left side of the infield tonight. Here's the 1-0 pitch, grounded to the left side of the infield. The third baseman, Ho P. Haslam, has it, throws to first in time for the out. So a 5-3 put out for out number 1. We go back to the top now with Brett Wiley. So the T-Bones leading it now 3-2 on the big 2-run homer by Tyler Moore. That is his first professional home run. And he now has 3 RBIs on this season. As Wiley squares around a bunt, he was going to try to get one down the third base side where Ho P. Haslam was played pretty far back, but instead it goes foul. The 1-strike pitch is blown away. McGovern gets the one he wants, wheels and deals the 1-1 pitch. Wiley tries to hold up on his swing, but they'll say he went around. So it's 1-2 now to Wiley. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He walked in the first. And on the left side of the plate, McGovern, the left-hander, wheels and deals the 1-2 pitch. And it's tapped towards second base. Grinder up with it. Over to first in plenty of time to get Wiley on the 4-3 putout for out number 2.
Now batting the left fielder, number
So
1.
2 down here in the 7th. That brings up the left fielder, Starlin Rodriguez. So a huge home run for Tyler Moore, both in distance and brevity, if you will, as it gives Kansas City a lead, but it guarantees now that Jordan Cooper coming back out for Kansas City. McGovern throws this one way outside to Rodriguez. Starlin 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning and then has since grounded out and flied out. 2 outs. We're in the top of the 7th. Kansas City now with a 3-2 lead. Nobody warming up in either bullpen, although both of them have kind of gotten up a little bit and started some stretching. This one's in there for a strike to Rodriguez. McGovern not liking the pitch that Murphy was giving him. Stepped off the rubber, asked him to go through the signs again. Now he has the one he wants. Here's the 1-1. Line toward left field. Coming in is the left fielder Heisler, and he'll drop in front of him for a 2-out single. So Starlin Rodriguez with a 2-out hit here in the 7th inning.
The batter, the center fielder, number 3, Tyler Massey.
Brings up the center fielder, Tyler Massey. Massey looking for his first hit tonight. He's 0 for 3. T-Bones now with 3 runs on 6 hits. Winnipeg 2 runs on 5 hits and 1 error. McGovern, the lefty, throws to first. Rodriguez back with no problem. That is the first time we've seen McGovern first tonight. Now he comes set at the belt. A long look at first, now comes to home with it. And it's low and away to Massey. Kansas City has had base runners before this point, but none of them really getting a big enough lead to concern McGovern. As manager Rick Forney will come out and talk with his pitcher and catcher. Rick Forney, what a manager he's been. He is in his 11th season with the Goldeyes. In his first 10 years, Winnipeg has had 8 winning seasons, 7 playoff appearances, and the 2012 American Association Championship. A very quick meeting as now Winnipeg will get a left-hander, Ethan Carnes, I believe, warming up. Here's the 1-ball pitch, and it's lifted into left field. Heisler drifts back toward the warning track, camps on it, and pulls it down for the 3rd out. But not before the T-Bones will take the lead here in the 7th inning. Kansas City gets 2 runs on 3 hits. The big one, the first professional home run for Tyler Moore that ends up scoring Dalton Wheat and gives Kansas City a 3-2 lead. It's stretch time here at Shaw Park. We'll take it with them back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. Providence Medical Group has offices in Bonner Springs, Basehor, Tonganoxie, Lansing, Leavenworth, and KCK. That's why we're the go-to community hospital in the region. If you're a T-Bones fan, count on the medical team that takes care of your team. The great doctors of Providence Medical Center, just east of the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Learn more at providencekc.com.
Heathwood Oil Company was the first independently owned oil company in Kansas City, and they're now one of the oldest continuously family-owned oil companies in the Midwest, featuring Citgo lubricants. With a current bulk storage capacity of over 250,000 gallons, they have the products you need. Let Heathwood and Citgo design a Citgo lubricants program to reduce cost and increase production. Call 913-321-1764 or email sales@heathwoodoil.com. Heathwood and Citgo, your lubrication specialist since 1926.
Jordan Cooper back on the hill for Kansas City as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. They'll be facing the 5, 6, 7 hitters, Romanski, Grider, and Rogers. T-Bones leading at 3-2 on the 2-run home run in the top of this inning by the catcher, Tyler Moore. Cooper with his first pitch to Romanski. It's in there for a strike. So Cooper has now gone at least 6 innings in 9 of his 11 starts. Those only 2 times he didn't, June 25th at Fargo and June 30th at Lincoln, ended up being the 2 losses that Cooper brought into this game tonight. The 1-1 to Romanski is fouled back and out of play as Kansas City will get somebody up. And I misquoted. I said that Tolles will be the only available reliever tonight. Tolles is the only fresh available reliever. That's how I should have said that. DeLuca, who got the loss last night, is warming up now as this one is swung on and fouled back to the screen. Luckily for Kansas City, because otherwise that's a drop third strike. Cooper started the season in the Indians organization, pitching in both AA and AAA. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Romanski fouls it back and out of play. He was 1-0 with a 3.00 at AAA Columbus. But as we've mentioned, he realized he wasn't going to pitch as much as he wanted, so he essentially just asked for his release and was granted his release. And he looked around for a new team, and the fact that he's from Topeka, the fact that his wife is expecting their first child in a couple months, made the decision to sign with Kansas City an easier one. And it has been a great signing for Kansas City. Here's the 2-2 to Romanski. Grounded foul down the first base side. The Indians selected Cooper in the 9th round of the 2010 June MLB amateur draft out of Wichita State. And he came into this game with a career record of 36-40 and a 4.16 ERA, but just the veteran presence he brings, having both Cooper and Mike Kickham, I think is really good for the younger pitchers, starters and relievers alike. Here's the windup in the 2-2. Lifted into left field. Rodriguez drifts over, camps under and pulls it down for out number 1. So 1 out here in the 7th, and it brings up the second baseman, Cassio Grider. The windup and the first pitch to Grider is skied into left field. Drifting toward the line is Rodriguez. Plenty of room. And he camps under and pulls it down for out number 2.
The goal line, first base, number 14, Jacob Rogers.
So a few things in play here if you're a numbers person. As Jacob Rogers comes up. When Kansas City is trailing after 5, which tonight they were 2-1, they are just 4-23 this season when trailing after 5 innings. As the first pitch is a curveball that's in there for a strike to Rogers. Next pitch in there for a strike, so quickly Jacob Rogers down to the count 0-2. He was not happy earlier with home plate umpire Jordan Sampert, and he's not happy here. Back in on the left side of the plate. Cooper, the right-hander, gets the one he wants for more. Here's the two-strike pitch. Tapped foul toward the Kansas City dugout. When Kansas City scores first, which they did not tonight, they are 23-12. When the T-Bones score last, they are 15-14. We're in the bottom of the seventh, and the T-Bones leading at 3-2. As Rogers stays alive with yet another foul ball. Count remains 0-2. 2 outs. The kick in the pitch. Grounded to Blackwood. He'll backhand it, bobbles it, now flips it to Cooper covering first. And Jordan Cooper will get a 1-2-3 inning. And the second legitimate 1-2-3 inning he gets tonight. He's faced the minimum a couple times, but those were aided by double plays and a caught stealing. But here it'll be a 3-1 putout for round number 3. So for the Goldeyes here in the seventh, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We head to the eighth with Kansas City leading at 3-2. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
Country Inn & Suites in Village West is the official hotel of the KC T-Bones. We conveniently share the parking lot with the stadium and offer access to the best shopping and entertainment. Enjoy a comfortable stay with top-notch services and amenities. Start your day off right with our Be Our Guest breakfast. Our exceptional service makes Country Inn & Suites the ideal hotel in KC for anyone traveling for business or pleasure. Stay with us on your next trip and we'll have you saying, I love this country. Book today at countryinns.com/Kansas City KS.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.com.
Kansas City would like to add to their lead here. But if they're going to do so, they'll do so against a new pitcher. As another lefty comes in, this one is number 36. Kyle Anderson, a 6'2", 205-pound left-hander out of Woodinville, Washington. Anderson, 3-1, 16 games he's appeared in this year. He started 5. He's 3-1 with 1 save and a 2.85 ERA.
Now pitching for the Goldeyes, number 36, Kyle Anderson.
He's appeared in 53 and 2/3 innings, given up 55 hits, 19 runs, 17 of those have been earned. He's walked 4, struck out 28. He's given up 6 home runs, 7 doubles, no triples. Has faced 214 hitters, and they're batting .263 against him. So the Goldeyes go from lefty to lefty as Anderson comes in now here in the 8th inning. He'll be facing Blackwood, Gallus, and Frias. Blackwood 0 for 3 tonight with a couple strikeouts. McGovern went 7 innings tonight. Gave up 3 runs, 6 hits. As the first pitch in there for a strike to Blackwood. McGovern had just 1 walk tonight. 1 hit batter, 7 strikeouts. As Blackwood fouls this one out of play. So Blackwood behind the count 0-2. Kansas City leading at 3-2 here in the top of the 8th. The windup and the 0-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. So Jank will be the first strikeout for Anderson and the first out here in the 8th inning. Brings up Anthony Gallus, who's 1 for 3 tonight. First pitch to Gallus is outside. Big swing and a miss. Anderson played in the 2002 Little League World Series. As the 2-1 to Gallus is going to be lined foul. Almost an outstanding play by the catcher in the bullpen. It's Carlton Tanabe down there, who started last night, but he tried to go up and catch that one. They got at least 6 inches off the ground in his gear trying to catch it. Now, granted, that's about 5 inches higher than I probably would have gone. Anderson started his career with Winnipeg as this pitch is roped down the left field line, and it's going to drop foul by about the same amount that I would have jumped for that ball previously. Just an inch or so. But Anderson was with the Goldeyes in 2014, and the Arizona Diamondbacks purchased his contract halfway through that season. He came back to the Goldeyes last year. Here's the 1-2 once again to Gallus. It's a little bit outside. The next pitch is down low. They have said that Anderson has the coolness of a Clayton Kershaw. As the lefty will get Gallus going down on strikes.
Number 11, Vladimir Frias.
So 2 strikeouts here in the inning for Anderson. And with 2 away here in the 8th and nobody on, it brings up the shortstop, Vladimir Frias. Vladdy staying on the right side of the plate against the lefty Anderson. Grounds the first pitch to short, and it gets away from Gonzalez. He will throw from his knees, and the throw is not even close. So that should be an error on Gonzalez. That'll be the second of the night for the Goldeyes.
Now batting the right fielder, number 9, Dalton Wheat.
It was a nice recovery by Gonzalez, but not even close. The speedy free. And one left on base. I apologize for that. One left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Kansas City leading at 3-2. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
At Community America, we're redefining wealth. It's time to focus on what really fills our lives with meaning. The experiences and relationships that define who we are and what we value. At Community America, what matters to you matters to us. Because when you have financial peace of mind, you can live life to the fullest. Make today wealthy.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Tanner Murphy and Michael Gonzalez. And one to Hope. He has them. He fouls this one back and out of play. It's 1-2. Hope he has them. Grounded out, ending the second inning. And they put down a sacrifice bunt that gave Winnipeg runners at second and third, with then one out in the fifth. Here's the 1-2. Fouled to the same spot. But after they had runners at second and third with one out, Tanner Murphy roped one to Jake Blackwood at first. Jake caught it and was able to double. In my life, heard a batter come up to the batter who was up at the time, Willie Cabrera, ended up doubling. T-Bones leading at 3-2. Here's the two-strike pitch to Gonzalez. It's a little bit upstairs. Leon guarding the line at third. Here's the 1-2. It's in the dirt. Defensively for Kansas City, Rodriguez in left, Massey in center. Wade in right. Infield third to first, Leon, Frias, Wiley and Blackwood. Moore behind the plate. Moore hitting his first professional home run tonight. As this one's lined toward right, Dalton Wheat got a slow jump on it, but he'll make the play for the third out. So 3 up, 3 down as the three hitters will fly out to each of the three Kansas City outfielders. And it's a second consecutive 1-2-3 inning thrown by Jordan Cooper. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. We head to the ninth, Kansas City leading it 3-2. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
At Community America, we're redefining wealth. It's time to focus on what really fills our lives with meaning. The experiences and relationships that define who we are and what we value. At Community America, what matters to you matters to us. Because when you have financial peace of mind, you can live life to the fullest. Make today wealthy.
Heathwood Oil Company was the first independently owned oil company in Kansas City, and they're now one of the oldest continuously family-owned oil companies in the Midwest, featuring Citgo lubricants. With a current bulk storage capacity of over 250,000 gallons, they have the products you need. Let Heathwood and Citgo design a Citgo lubricants program to reduce costs and increase production. Call 913-321-1764 or email sales@heathwoodoil.com. Heathwood and Citgo, your lubrication specialist since 1926.
As we go to the top of the ninth inning, it'll be Tyler Moore, Sergio Leon, then back to the top, Brett Wiley. Kyle Anderson back for his second inning of work. As Tanabe is now behind the plate for Winnipeg. Tanner Murphy was pinch hit for, and that pinch hitter was David Rome, who flied out to center. First pitch to Moore. He swings and lifts it into right center. Coming in for a sliding catch and making the catch is the right fielder Cabrera. A great play by the right fielder Cabrera, robbing Moore of his second, check that, third hit here tonight. Rings up the third baseman, Leon.
Number 4, Sergio Leon.
Leon with 3 groundouts tonight. 2 to the third baseman, Hope. He has them. 1 to the shortstop, Gonzalez. Here's the first pitch. He swings and lifts it deep in toward the left field corner. And this one is gone. Home run, Sergio Leon. So Sergio Leon hits it off one of the flagpoles out in left field.
The batter, the second baseman, number 16, Brett Wiley.
And Leon will get his second home run for Kansas City. The second home run tonight. But his second career home run, or second home run of the season, rather, for the T-Bones. More importantly, it gives Kansas City now a 4-2 lead. As the first pitch is in there for a strike to the leadoff hitter, Brett Wiley. And the bottom third of the lineup as Wiley rips this one towards center, and it goes off the glove of Abercrombie. Wiley's going to end up at second base. In all likelihood, that will end up as the third error of the night for the Gold Eyes. It certainly should be, and it will be. So an error by Abercrombie as he was just drifting over and just kind of nonchalantly was going to basket catch it at about waist high, and he dropped it. Just clanked it off the heel of his glove. And manager Rick Forney is going to come out. We'll see if that does it for Anderson. They have had some action in their bullpen. As the right-hander Duke Von Schaman has been warming up. And that is going to do it for Kyle Anderson. So we get a call to the bullpen. We'll take a 2-minute timeout. Be back with your new pitcher after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.com.
At Community America, we're redefining wealth. It's time to focus on what really fills our lives with meaning. The experiences and relationships that define who we are and what we value. At Community America, what matters to you matters to us. Because when you have financial peace of mind, you can live life to the fullest. Make today wealthy.
I loved when the ice cream truck came around as a kid. The familiar music and the cool treats on a hot summer afternoon.
What's your happy place?
Have a Frosty Treats ice cream truck at your next corporate or private party. FrostyTreats.com.
Country Inn & Suites in Village West is the official hotel of the KC T-Bones. We conveniently share the parking lot with the stadium and offer access to the best shopping and entertainment. Enjoy a comfortable stay with top-notch services and amenities. Start your day off right with our Be Our Guest breakfast. Our exceptional service makes Country Inn & Suites the ideal hotel in KC for anyone traveling for business or pleasure. Stay with us on your next trip and we'll have you saying, I love this country. Book today at countryinns.com/Kansas City KS.
I loved when the ice cream truck came around as a kid. The familiar music and the cool treats on a hot summer afternoon.
What's your happy place?
Have a Frosty Treats ice cream truck at your next corporate or private party. FrostyTreats.com.
The new pitcher will be the right-hander Duke Von Schaman. He comes in here with the runner at second base and Brent Wiley. After Wiley reached on a two-base error by the center fielder, Reggie Abercrombie. But that was preceded by Sergio Leon with a solo home run. And Rodriguez grounds the first pitch to the third baseman, Ho P. Haslam, who rushes his throw and is able to get it to Rogers just as Rogers was getting to the base in the nick of time to get Starlin Rodriguez. So a 5-3 putout for out number two is Brett Wiley was running on the grounder, and that's part of the reason that Ho P. Haslam had to rush. He kind of gave a moment to pause as Wiley was going by. Here's Massey now as the first pitch to Massey is down low. Von Schaman, a right-hander. 6'5", 220 out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Currently resides in Oklahoma City, which is where my brother resides, who is celebrating his 36th birthday. I guess I still need to send him a text. Oh, I'm a bad brother. Four to two, Kansas City leading it here in the top of the ninth. Massey in on the left side of the plate with his relatively open stance. The 1-1 is lifted into center. We'll see if Abercrombie, he takes better care of it this time. And his error does not come back to bite the Gold Eyes. However, the home run by Leon does.
Winnipeg Harvest. Collection of bins are located at every ballpark entrance.
Here in the ninth, Kansas City will get one run. They do it on one hit. There was one error, and the T-Bones leave one on base. Jordan Cooper's night is done. We'll take this time out and tell you who your new pitcher is, as if you had to really guess. You have an all-star closer. Kansas City's in a save situation. So we'll be back after this with Mark Haynes on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.com.
At Community America, we're redefining wealth. It's time to focus on what really fills our lives with meaning. The experiences and relationships that define who we are and what we value. At Community America, what matters to you matters to us. Because when you have financial peace of mind, you can live life to the fullest. Make today wealthy.
I loved when the ice cream truck came around as a kid, the familiar music and the cool treats on a hot summer afternoon.
What's your happy place?
Have a Frosty Treats ice cream truck at your next corporate or private party. FrostyTreats.com.
Country Inn & Suites in Village West is the official hotel of the KC T-Bones. We conveniently share the parking lot with the stadium and offer access to the best shopping and entertainment. Enjoy a comfortable stay with top-notch services and amenities. Start your day off right with our Be Our Guest breakfast. Our exceptional service makes Country Inn & Suites the ideal hotel in KC for anyone traveling for business or pleasure. Stay with us on your next trip and we'll have you saying, I love this country. Book today at countryinns.com/Kansas City KS.
I loved when the ice cream truck came around as a kid, the familiar music and the cool treats on a hot summer afternoon.
What's your happy place?
Have a Frosty Treats ice cream truck at your next corporate or private party. FrostyTreats.com.
The left fielder, number 8, Adam.
We go to the bottom of the ninth. Kansas City leading at 4-2 as Jordan Cooper with an outstanding start tonight. He gave up 2 runs and 5 hits. Walked 3, but had a relatively clean night tonight. So Mark Haynes comes on to try to close the door here on the Gold Eyes. Haynes, your all-star closer, who threw last night. He went 1 1/3 in last night's game. Walked 1, struck out 2. He came in after the damage had been done in the 8th inning, after Winnipeg scored 2 runs and tied the game at 15. The 1-1 to Adam Heisler is low and away. One thing that you miss here in Winnipeg, or one thing that I miss that we see in Kansas City, is a pitch count. And the way we have things set up in Kansas City, as the count goes 3-1 now to Heisler. But our official scores will send sheets around after each pitcher, and it tells ball, strikes, hits, runs, all that good stuff. Here's one. It's high and away. So Mark Haynes comes in and walks the leadoff hitter, Adam Heisler, here in the 9th inning. So take your pick what you want me to harp on. I can either harp on the fact that it's a late walk in the 9th inning in a 2-run game. I can harp on the fact that perhaps one of the most dangerous middle parts of the lineup in the league is getting ready to come up. In Cabrera, Abercrombie, and Romanski. First, it's Cabrera. Cabrera started the season in Joplin. And they traded him to Winnipeg for a song about a month ago. Tonight, Cabrera's 3 for 3. Singled and scored, singled and doubled. First pitch way inside. And Haynes in this first batter plus here really has not found his control. Cabrera, 11 home runs, 56 RBIs, hitting .321. The kick and the pitch is tapped foul toward the Winnipeg dugout. Cabrera with his single in the first inning. He then came in on the home run by the guy who awaits on deck, Reggie Abercrombie. Haynes out of the stretch. The right-hander comes set at the belt. A quick look to first. Now he goes over there. But I began to say one of the things we miss here is the pitch count. I'd like to be able to tell you how many Cooper threw tonight. We'll tell you that after the game, I think, because this pitch is down low. So 2-1 to Cabrera. Now, that said, if you're thinking, well, maybe Cooper should have come out for the ninth inning, trying to get a complete game. Again, he was fortunate throughout the game in that he'd give up a walk, get it caught stealing, give up a single, get a double play. As this pitch way inside scoots Cabrera back. And the count's now 3-1. Kansas City leading at 4-2, but the T-Bones in an oddly precarious position at this point. Haynes is not a real emotional pitcher out there, but at the same time, you just don't see that confidence yet. Runner at first is Heisler. Cabrera's up there with a 3-1 count, nobody out. Another throw over to first. Heisler dives back safely. But Cooper tonight, and again, he'd be facing this part of the lineup for the fourth time in this game. So whether he had enough juice left, another throw over to first. Heisler back again safely. The crowd voicing its displeasure. Four runs, 7 hits for Kansas City. 2 runs, 5 hits, 3 errors for the Gold Eyes. Haynes gets the one he wants. The 3-1 is blown away, blocked by Moore. So Haynes puts 2 aboard here in the 9th inning. Winnipeg won it on a walk-off last night, a walk-off base hit in the 11th. And now manager John Mazzarelli after 4-2, Kansas City on top. Nobody out. Runners at first and second for Winnipeg here in the bottom of the 9th. Walks to Adam Heisler and Willie Cabrera have put us in this position. Crowd goes silent. Here's the 1-strike pitch. It's down low. It was almost like a golf match. Or a tennis match, maybe. The crowd cheering, and then suddenly, as Haynes was getting set on the mound, it went quiet. He's going to do it again here. Here's the 1-1. Line just over the glove of Sergio Leon. That's going to score 1, make it a 1-run game as Rodriguez will quickly get it in. But it's now a game with runners at first and second and nobody out.
goal line, designated hitter, number 23, Josh Romansky.
So it brings up the DH, Josh Romansky. As Haynes looks at his infielders, letting them know what will happen on a comebacker. Runners at first and second, nobody out. The pitch to Romansky, he gets a bunt down, and Haynes' only play will be to third, or first rather. As I think they had that set up to where Leon broke in hard from third, and as the ball was bunted back, he sprinted back to third. I don't know that they would have had to play at third. I doubt they would have. It certainly would have been a risky throw. But now there's one out for Cassio Grider. And they're going to walk Grider. But really at this point, with an open base at first and the tying run at third and the winning run at second, it's the way to do it. So now the bases are full for Jacob Rogers. Rogers has hit the ball hard tonight. He lined out sharply to Blackwood in the second inning. Singled in the fifth and grounded out again sharply to Blackwood in the seventh. One out, bottom of the ninth inning. One is across for Winnipeg. It's 4-3 Kansas City. Cabrera at third, Abercrombie at second. Those are the only two that matter. Big swing and a miss by Rogers. Those are the only two that matter at this point, although then at first base, Cassio Grider with the intentional walk. There have been 3 walks in the inning by Haynes. The first 2 unintentional. Here's the one-strike pitch. Oh, missed somewhere. The crowd held its breath, anticipating Jordan Sampert calling that one a strike. So now it's 1-1, and Haynes steps off the rubber for a second. Winnipeg will begin to loosen someone up in the event this one goes to extras. Here's the 1-1. Tapped foul. And out of the glove of Tyler Moore. One and two to Jacob Rogers. Ridge O.P. Haslam awaits on deck. Cabrera at third, Abercrombie at second. Grider is at first. And now Rogers steps out for some reason. Haynes now with a long look in. Gets the one he wants for Moore. Middle infield at double play depth. Corners are in. Big swing and a miss. A huge strikeout for Mark Haynes. His first strikeout tonight, but the second out in the inning. And it brings up the number 8 hitter, the third baseman, Rich Ho'P Haslam. Haslam 0 for 2 tonight. He's grounded out, flied out, and put down a sacrifice. Bases are loaded. Tying run at third, winning run at second. Haynes comes set at the belt. The first pitch to Hope Haslam is in there for a called strike. That pitch was on the low outside corner. Kansas City getting the call that time. As Haynes comes set, the crowd goes silent. Here's the 1-strike pitch. A little bit upstairs. It's just not very often that the crowd goes silent this late in the game with their team hitting. Here's the pitch. It's low and away. So 2-1 now to Hope Haslam. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Big swing and a miss. So the count evens up now, 2-2. The deuce is hanging wild. Mark Haynes just needs one more strike here against Hope Haslam to even up this series at a game apiece. He gets the one he wants. Comes set. Here's the 2-2. A little bit outside. And now the count is full. As we said last night, in a similar situation at the end of the game, we have gone as far as we can go. The runners will be running. A base hit will win it. Here's the 3-2. Fouled back to the screen. That was a low and away pitch that Sampert has been calling a strike most of the night. Cabrera has at third base. Abercrombie is at second. Kansas City leading at 4-3. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Cassio Griders at first. Hope Haslam in on the right side of the plate, wiggles the bat above his head. And now, after Haynes spends an eternity looking in, Hope Haslam steps out. Once again, here's the payoff pitch from Haynes, and it's upstairs. So Haynes has walked 4 here in the inning, 1 intentionally. And now 2 of those walks have scored. The first 2 walks have scored. And the game is tied 4-4 with 2 outs here in the 9th. The bases remain full as Carlton Tanabe comes to the plate. Tanabe is at the plate for the first time tonight. First pitch is in there for a strike. Kansas City scored a run in the top of this inning on a home run by Sergio Leon. Took a 4-2 lead. Winnipeg against closer Mark Haynes has tied it 4-4. Popped up right side, but this one will find the seats about 4 rows back. Went back behind home plate over the screen. Abercrombie at third. Grider at second. Hope he has him at first. Here's the 2-strike pitch to Tanabe. It's upstairs. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Haynes comes set at the belt. The kick and the 1-2. Grounded up the middle. That's going to do it. Mark Haynes comes in the 9th inning after a great performance by Jordan Cooper. He walks the first 2 in the inning. Gives up a base hit to Reggie Abercrombie.
How about that for a Saturday night's entertainment? Yeah, baby.
Walked another one with the bases loaded and gives up a game-winning base hit to Carlton Tanabe here in the bottom of the 9th, and Kansas City loses it tonight by a final of 5-4, the second consecutive night for a walk-off for Winnipeg. Take a 2-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll try to, as we tell you once again, Kansas City and just had a disastrous start. He walked out just from a standpoint for me to hear them. It was I've heard a lot of great things about the crowd here, and we've seen 2 outstanding crowds, 5,500 last night, 47 tonight, and they enjoyed certainly this last half of the 9th inning. We'll be back at it again. Kansas City now has tied their longest losing streak of the year at 4 games. They will try to avoid that tomorrow, avoid extending that to 5 games tomorrow. A couple other stats to throw your way. Kansas City on the road is now 14-20 on the season. When leading after 5, which they did not do tonight, they were trailing after 5. Kansas City was leading after 7. They now will drop to 25-4 when leading after 7 innings. Once the home run was hit by Reggie Abercrombie in the first inning, that gave Winnipeg a 2-0 lead. But from that point on, Jordan Cooper really settled down. Again, he was aided by a couple double plays, and he helped himself with a pickoff of Michael Gonzalez. That coming in the 6th inning. But to expect him to come out for the 9th against this lineup, and now we can tell you, pitch count-wise, Cooper was at 99. So if you're bringing him in for the 9th inning, he's going to be well into 100+. Haynes threw 33 pitches here in the 9th inning, by the way. But with that 2-0 lead, Kansas City eventually came in to score its first run of the game, that coming in the 4th inning as Anthony Gallus reached on a single. And eventually came in when Tyler Moore reached on an error. And that made it a 2-1 game. Kansas City then took the lead in the 7th inning after Dalton Wheaton led off with a single. Tyler Moore hit his first professional home run, a 2-run shot that gave Kansas City a 3-2 lead. The T-Bones extended that lead in the 9th inning with another rookie, Sergio Leon, hitting a home run off one of the flagpoles out in left field that gave Kansas City a 4-2 advantage. And then, again, as we mentioned here in the bottom of the 9th, Winnipeg sent 8 to the plate, and they scored 3 runs. And they win it on a walk-off base hit by Carlton to Nabby. And again, Kansas City 29-38 now, and Winnipeg 37-29. We'll do it again tomorrow. 1 o'clock start here from Winnipeg as Kansas City will try to avoid the sweep as we head to the All-Star break after this. Special thanks to everybody here in Winnipeg. They have just been outstanding hosts, and I look forward to being around them again tomorrow. Hopefully, however, it will be a different outcome for the T-Bones as they will try to avoid the sweep. Until tomorrow, this is Matt Folk saying be safe and take care, everyone. This game on the T-Bones Broadcast Network was brought to you by Community America Credit Union, Austin's Trailers and Motorsports, Funweiser, Coca-Cola, Price Chopper, Providence Medical Center, the Kansas Lottery, FlyKCI.com, Roma Bakery, Sheet Metal Local Number 2, and Kissick Construction. Tune in online all season to the T-Bones Broadcast Network. Click on the Watch Live or Listen Live buttons at tbonesbaseball.com. T-Bones Baseball, that's fun. Well done.